Hey. I bet you didn't expect to hear from me anytime soon. About 6 weeks ago, those of you who might remember, I announced that I no longer am going to be doing the Live Like Your Nail Color podcast. I'm suspending it. Don't know when I'll pick that up again. And that's because it's just so much happening right now in my life to be available for my aging parents, my mom with some dementia. My dad's the frontline caretaker. I'm kind of his backup. And then I've got my aunt and uncle who are also in the area. And my uncle went into hospice about 6 weeks ago. He's doing better, but I don't know how long that will last. And he's at a facility. And so there's just a lot. And I just thought, I just don't have the bandwidth. I don't regret that decision at all. I miss in some ways not doing the podcast and having these great conversations, but it's just something I couldn't be as present in those conversations, and I needed to be present with my aging parents. And when I sent out the video about that, I got such amazing feedback about the video, and some of the things that I shared in it touched many of you in a way of what's happening in your life. And since then, in the last 6 weeks, I've had these moments, these like mini stories with my mom and dad and my loved ones that I really thought were, wow, wouldn't it be cool to share some of these? And I shared someone on some phone calls or some Zoom meetings with some people. And then I kind of got the idea. I said, what if I just, captured some of these in videos and then shared them on and kept in touch with people to know what's happening with me, but also there's things in here that I'm learning that everyone can benefit from. And so I got a big yes, please do. And so that's what I decided to do. I decided I'm going to call them flip the chip moments. Because when you're living like your nail color, chip happens. I got some chip going on right here. I mean, they're not awful, but chip's happening. And so the idea of flipping the chip is, well, chip happens, so what? I mean, that's true about life. So how can we take something that's difficult or challenging, painful, and flip it into something that is more positive and something we can take forward, a lesson learned, something that is more life-giving. So I thought I would just share a story each time and then say, hey, here's how I flipped the chip, and this may help you too. I want them to be 10 minutes or less, and I'd love for you to let me know if you'd like more of them. So here's the first story. The first story is about National Daughter's Day. So about a month ago was National Daughter's Day, but I had no idea it was National Daughter's Day until I went onto Facebook. It's amazing what you'll learn there. And the interesting thing is that day I was already planning to go see my mom. And I wanted to take her to the store to get some fake flowers, some silk flowers, and then put them on her mother's and father's grave. And I thought she would really like that. She used to do it a lot, but it's kind of, she's lost the memory of it. It doesn't cross her mind with her dementia. And so I before I went over, I went, oh, look, it's National Daughter's Day. And so I got an idea. And the idea went like this. When I came to see her, I first said, hey, Mom, guess what? She goes, what? Today is National Daughter's Day. And I want you to be a great daughter. So let's go and get some flowers and put them on your mom and dad's gravesite. What do you think? And she was like, oh. Now, I'd already told my dad, hey, this is my plan. So when I suggest it, I'd love it if you back me up and encourage her to go. Now, the reason I did that is because when someone has dementia, they tend to get more anxious and less certain and a little weary and fearful as the disease progresses. Hey, it can happen to all of us, right? We don't even have to have any cognitive decline. So I just wanted her to get that backup because she implicitly trusts my dad. And I hope that continues till the very end, by the way. And so anyway, so he chimes in and says, I think that's a great idea. You should go. She goes, now? He goes, yes, I need to go to the hardware store. So why don't you go with Mary and I'm going to go to the store? Which he did need to go to the store, but he didn't have to go then. He made it convenient that he was going to leave. And then she would go, oh, okay. Right. And so she was willing to get in the car and she said yes. So then we go to the store. And when we get into the store, we get to the aisle, aisles that have all the fake flowers. And then I start making some suggestions and she starts going, oh, yes, that's a good one. Oh, yes. And then she starts making her own selections. She used to love doing flowers and love doing things, with plants. So I figured let's tap into something that she used to like to do, but she doesn't always think of doing them at this point. Okay. So then we get out of the store. She's had a good time. We get in the car and we get to a point where she thinks we're going to turn one way to go back to the house, but actually I want to turn the other way to go to the cemetery. And so she's now a little nervous and questions me. And I went, oh, well, let's go to the cemetery and put them on the gravesite now. Dad doesn't expect us to be back for a few minutes. He's still at the store. It won't take but 15 or 20 minutes. Oh, okay. So then we go and we do that. And we put them on the grave and she's loving it and she loves it. It's so pretty. And at one point, when we're all done, I congratulate her that she's a great daughter on National Daughters Day. And she talks a little bit about her mom, whom she loves. And I asked her about her dad, whom she so respected. And then I said, do you have any daughters? Now, I'm completely leading on here because I'm just having fun. I want to see what she's going to respond because she doesn't really know I'm her daughter. Sometimes she says, oh, this is my daughter, but I'm pretty sure, based on a lot of other ways she talks about me, is that she doesn't realize it. And so she looks at me and she goes, no, I don't. And I just laughed. And I laughed. I didn't correct her is because she didn't know. But in that moment, I'm able to make her kind of the hero of the story, her the wonderful daughter. And it made me feel so good. And she didn't know the gift she gave me by just saying yes to doing this together. And so as I thought about it, when you flip a chip, you take someone who is anxious, someone who's uncertain, someone who doesn't even really know their history with you anymore. And how can you flip it into a beautiful moment? Well, I realized that the success behind that was, how do I position things? How do I ask questions simple enough for her to say yes? And it was a series of yeses. The first one, which was, of course, I used National Daughters Day to help her say yes and tap into her love of her parents. We all can figure out how to do that better, I think. I was thinking about, do I make it complicated for someone to say yes to me in some way? And I'm not talking just about business. I mean, I'm a business coach still. I do a little bit of coaching, and I know many of you are in business, but it isn't just about business. It's about relationships too. It's about wanting someone to do something with you, or reaching out to an adult child, or maybe a new neighbor or a friend or something where you just want a yes. Well, make it simple for them to say yes. Make it about them as much as possible, what's in it for them, what they'll enjoy. And just be willing to go with creative ideas like, oh, it's National Daughters Day. How can I leverage that? So that's what I've learned so far, and that's what I've experienced. I'm thinking about doing these videos about twice a month, maybe more. I would love your feedback. Just a quick yes. Would you love to have more of these little moments? I'll tell you, partly I'm doing them because I want to remember those moments. And I know that as they build up, it's easy to forget. And I know that in times ahead, this will probably only get harder, not easier. I'd like to remember when these moments, because I might need to replay them again. So if you love this idea, go ahead and click on the the video, or click on the email you got this from, or maybe in the comments on the YouTube posting, and just say yes. Love more. Thank you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.